In suburban Maiden Gully, near Bendigo, there is a grave. 7 people from the Friends of the Bendigo Kilmore Rail Trail are going to end up there. Oh dear, no. Let me rephrase that. 7 people from the Friends of the Bendigo Kilmore Rail Trail are going to finish a long bike ride in front of the gravesite. By now you will have realised that Maria Ninnes is buried there. In 1852, Maria and her husband Thomas travelled from Burra in South Australia to Bendigo. The 7 cyclists want to follow in their footsteps, using a diary written by Thomas as a sort of travel guide.
The reason I had the idea of this pose is because I met Burra down here at the gravesite one day, and she started to explain a bit more of the history. I'd walked past the sign many times. I'd looked at the rough map and I thought that's an amazing thing. I thought, well, I wonder if we could, and I floated the idea with a few people. Greg and I got very excited. So we ended up with about 16 people for a start. We finally narrowed it down to 7, and just as well.
The Ninnes family spent 2 years and 9 months working in Burra, according to Thomas in his diary. Our adventurers, Greg, John, Tim, Pat, Margie, Neil and Phil, are spending 3 days there, just to get a flavour of what might have been a very busy copper mining town. Was the group's renovated accommodation indeed one of the cottages, or similar to the ones used by Thomas and Maria before they built their own cottage? Have group members just cycled through street and mining escapes that Thomas and Maria may have visited? Have they just sipped coffees in shops where Thomas and Maria did the shopping? Whatever might be the answers to these sort of questions raised while sipping coffee, and as interesting as Burra is, and as good as the eating and drinking facilities in the town are, it's time to get going. The cool and foggy April weather conditions facing the cyclist departure are bound to be quite different from the January midsummer conditions faced by Thomas and Maria and their family, and the families that accompanied them, when they departed. Now, every cycle tour begins with an uphill, doesn't it? The gentle climb out of Burra and subsequent rolling countryside is sorting our riders into their own comfortable paces as they enjoy views across the open countryside. The route they are following is as close as possible to the route taken by the Ninnes entourage, keeping in mind our group's desire to use minor and traffic-free roads. The first 20-something kilometres of gravel roads have passed beneath the bike wheels, and the group is arriving at Black Springs to enjoy morning tea in a shelter in the cemetery. Our adventurers have already ridden what may well have been a full day's journey for the Ninnes. Perhaps they parked their bullock dray here for an overnight stop, given that permanent water was available. As well as navigating the riders along scenic country roads and through small country towns, Tim has organised a gentle tail breeze. Such conditions are a source of lunchtime conversation in the well-stocked cafe in Maribel. Did you know there is a gem of wisdom among touring cyclists in the saying, there's only one thing worse than first day legs, and that's second day legs. However, after leaving the overnight accommodation in Kapunda, our intrepid explorers clearly know nothing about such a gem of wisdom, as they use the high-quality rail trail between Nurriutpa and Angaston.
Car on the right.
At Angaston, about 174 years ago, Thomas Ninnes commented in his diary about the fine land in the property called Mount Angus Station, and about his observation of a woman ploughing a field. Not being able to find a woman ploughing a field, our riders colonise a cafe in Angaston, and then head further south. Look happy.
Nearly there. Nearly there.
Smile.
Not even looking at me.
Reaching the Murray River is as much a highlight for today's riders as it was for the Ninnes family. When Thomas and Maria arrived at the Murray, their only option was to take a ferry. The ferry was moved by men pulling on a cable. Today, the ferry is still pulled by a cable, and there is also the option of a bridge. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Don't bother waving.
We're on the disused railway line between Lucindale and Narracourt. We're on a section which I've nicknamed the Bronx because we understand it's the embankment which the railroad ran on. And it's now, they converted it to a very, very rough track with lots of big stones on it. We have remnants of the old bush on either side, banksia trees, grass trees. We've seen some black-tailed cockies, I think they're called.
Red-tailed.
Sorry, the red-tailed black cockies, fairly rare. So a remnant bush on either side. It's a rough, bumpy road, but it's fantastic. And we're heading towards Narracourt. We're now at the South Australia-Victorian border. You'll notice on the South Australian side, the road's a metre or two wider. It's got a dotted line down the middle and a safety line down on either side. On the Victorian side, the road narrows, no line markings at all.
Oh, he'd be absolutely celebrating crossing the border. He probably wouldn't
Getting
be.
closer to the gold.
Well, he actually knew that he was crossing the border, so you know. So he did say that they were now crossing the border.
Yeah.
But the road would have been, the road he was on would have been a very, very different.
The riders immersed themselves in countryside through which Thomas and Maria travelled. On a particularly pretty section along the Giles River Road near Glenorchy, they hear Maria's voice.
Oh, Thomas, this is lovely along this riverbed along here. The beautiful birds and songs and the rushes, the trees. But it's just not Cornwall.
Dorcas.
It just said Dorcas.
Dorcas died 100 miles south of Cape.
So Dorcas could have been
buried at sea. So, I might remember.
Could have been anybody because he was travelling with his brother, and it was his brother-in-law.
Extended family.
Yeah, maybe Dorcas could have been his sister. Who knows? Doesn't say. You need his family tree for that. Yeah, it's just big. That the whole thing has become a little bit more real.
Yeah,
to me as we've travelled.
They're talking about it here. William James from St Just, wife, son and 2 daughters lived in another room.
Yeah.
So they might be talking about that.
Yeah, they are. So they got off in Adelaide and...
Anyway, she said, wife in another room, James Bone and sister, now Mrs Bright of Clare, lived in the 4th room, roof with shingles, no ceiling and not plastered, fearful for dust and wind, hundreds living in huts dug out on the bank of the Burra Creek.
Yeah, but they, I don't know if you were here, from what I could read, they actually stayed in the Paxton cottages.
Oh.
Yeah, in one room. Yes. So the cottages were 4 rooms. Yes. And they had 1 room. So there was either 2 or 3 other families there. Maybe they had a...
Well, he said here in 1849 he took a lease on allotment in the hill a few chains south east of the Wesleyan Church, Coringa, and built a 3-room house out of something in his spare time. At about the end of the year, the Victorian diggings was discovered, and almost all of the men left the diggings.
Yeah.
We're out of here.
So that was the house that they locked up with furniture in it, not the cottage. Yeah.
Right. So Coringa was...
Yeah, that was the
area.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an update.
It's the final day in the epic journey from the copper mining town of Burra in South Australia to the grave site in Maiden Gully, near the gold mining city of Bendigo. Our adventurers have experienced the same countryside that Thomas and Maria Ninnes experienced. They know full well that the journey taken by modern bicycle was far quicker than the journey undertaken by the Ninnes family with their bullock drays and horse and cart.
Here, there.